Speaking of
know,
which, don't you have like a court date set for the Frost, or is what's going on with that?
my problem is that I'm having a hard time getting some money together to get into court.
I see. Well, they're probably backlogged because they got so many other people.
No, that's not it.
It's not about paperwork, or they have to go through, or
No, it's about me not having no fucking money.
I see. So it's
When you
pretty
go to
much
court,
a
when you go to
stalemate.
court, you have to pay them money to
Mm,
file. Okay, you can't just do it for free.
yeah. So it's pretty
You got
much
to
a
file.
stalemate.
Now, district court though, the judge told me they said, she said if you have a problem with the estate, all you got to do is fill out a paper. It doesn't even have to be a legal document. You just fill out a piece of paper, sign it, turn it in, and we'll talk about your case. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Don't cost me nothing. So that's a little bit different, but that's that specific case. There, okay, that's not that if I take the Frost to court to try to get my shit back, I got to pay all over again. I paid $250 for that goddamn Replevin document, and then the judge acts like it isn't a real document and acts like I'm as dumb as a box of rocks, knowing full well that a Replevin document, folks, is specifically designed for a circuit court. And if he's a judge, he has to know that that document was legitimate. He has to know it was. I signed it. It was notarized by a notary public. I paid my $250 fucking dollars. And I was standing right there in front of me. There was no reason for him not to go forward with that court case. He chose not to do it. And then he says, "Oh well, the Stivers isn't in town. You'll have to come back in June or July." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Why would a judge say shit like that?" Here's what a normal judge would say. A normal judge would tell Stivers, "You get your ass in this courtroom when it's called, or you don't win your court case." That's what a normal judge would tell Stivers. So, what the fuck is going on? Well, I don't know. But, when Judge House told me those words to my face, I'm like, something is bad wrong here. Because that's not how a judge acts. A judge does not bend the knee to a fucking attorney / congressman. Okay? A judge isn't going to give a fuck who Stivers is. If he's got a court case, his ass has to be there or he's going to lose by default. That's the law. That's not Von Helton's opinion. That's the law. If you're not in a court when the court is called, you lose that court case. Period. End of story. Okay? You don't get to pick and choose when you have your court case. That's a load of horse shit. Unless Frost's using my money to influence everybody around them, which is more likely. But I don't give a shit because, ultimately, probably what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go to federal court and I'm going to have to sue the state of Kentucky in order to get my kids back, in order to get my money back. I'm going to have to sue the state of Kentucky. But I ain't going to sue them for no 32 million. That's for goddamn sure. I'm going to sue them for billions. How much was my mother's life worth? How much was my father's life worth? How much was Andrea's life worth? How much is them 3 kids' lives worth? Most people would say they're priceless. All right. So, I'm thinking, I don't know, 15 billion. That's 5 billion per child. I think that, you know, that's not unreasonable. You don't want to know what it is in California. It's trillions. It's trillions in California. So, if they want to go the California route, hey, I'm okay with that. I'll take $1 trillion. Fuck yeah. But the thing of it is that, you know, there was so many times that this bullshit could have been stopped. So many times. And nobody stopped it. I contacted Rand Paul's office. I said, "Hey man, these people are plotting to destroy my family and steal my inheritance. Do something." "Nah, we don't get involved in Kentucky affairs." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Then 1 week later, Rand Paul is in London giving 2 police officers a medal in London, or was it Louisville or Lexington? Anyway, it was one of the ill cities. giving 2 police officers an award. And I called them back up. I personally called them back up. I said, I thought you guys didn't get involved in local Kentucky stuff. Then I hung up in their fucking ear. Rand Paul's office could have stopped this bullshit at any fucking time. One fucking letter from Rand Paul's office and this shit would have stopped. But they didn't want to. Then likewise, I had been sending email to one of the governor's secretaries the whole fucking time. I was sending her email the whole fucking time describing in detail every little fucking thing that was happening. Now, what was this secretary doing with those emails? Was she throwing them in the fucking garbage? Probably. But that's okay. Because when the governor gets a fucking lawsuit filed on him, then I guess he'll wake up and he'll be like, hey, what the fuck? Why is this man, and then they find out, oh, he's a model citizen with no criminal record, not even a fucking traffic ticket. And he was harassed for 15 years by fucking CPS at the behest of a bunch of domestic terrorists and convicted criminals. Now granted, Bashir's a Democrat, but even a Democrat is not stupid. Not even a Democrat is stupid, okay? And he's going to fucking wait a minute. Why am I getting sued here? What the fuck is going on? And so the governor is going to wake the fuck up. And let me tell you what a governor can do. A governor can take those 3 judges, Harris, Lewis, and House, and say, y'all are in contempt, y'all are gone. Boom, out of here, bye. And replace them with judges that will follow the law and that actually know how to arrest somebody. Holy fuck. Apparently nobody knows how to arrest anyone around here. Except me, of course, Oh, we're going to arrest you. Arrest me for what? I'm a model citizen. I haven't broke the law. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what. Why do you think I'm so glad to be a model citizen, man? Because they could have, if I'd had any kind of criminal record, I'd have been gone a long ass time ago, which is what the trolls were hoping for. Well, sucks to be you, trolls. It didn't happen now, did it? Because I'm a model citizen. You can't throw a model citizen in jail. Okay, you can't do that. Sorry. So, but the thing of it is that she did not come up here poor. She came up here with $25,000 to go to college on. So what the trolls done, they didn't like the fact that we had money. So what they done, they contacted the Frost and told the Frost that Andrea had $25,000. And so what the Frost done, they called Mom, used the MK Ultra mind control on my mother, and got my mother to seize Andrea's $25,000 for back rent and stupid shit like that. Okay, so they and me and Andrea are like, well, fuck, if Mom's gonna steal Andrea's college money, then we'll just fucking go get a widescreen TV and some furniture and shit, so she don't get all of it at least. And so that's exactly what happened, though. Mom seized her $25,000 at the behest of James Arnold fucking Frost, who used MK Ultra mind control on her to get her to take her money away from her. So when the trolls sit there and say they're helping Andrea, no, they weren't. That was a lie. They got the Frost to steal her college money. And they got it to where that she couldn't go to college right here in Manchester. The gods had set everything up for her so she could go to college right here in Manchester. And the gods had set it up, man, to where she would have been set for life. All right. She had her $25,000 per college. The gods were having them to build a college right here in Manchester. Yeah, but getting back to Andrea, what these trolls have done to Andrea is absolutely unforgivable. She was 25 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. She was getting ready to go to college, and they manipulated the Frost to get Mom to take all of her money away from her and leave her with nothing. And that is unforgivable. And, I don't know why in the hell.
Didn't they really get it all?
What's that? The Frost ends up getting her money too. That's right.
Yeah. What? How much money?
Well, yeah. She had 25, like I said, she come up here with $25,000. She come up here with plenty of money to go to college on. Yeah. And the Frost got that money too. See, that's something a lot of people don't talk about is that the Frost got all of her college money too.
Why didn't you go to Big Jim? Big Jim.
Yeah.
Big Jim and say, listen, Jim, I'm not wacky on conspiracies right now. Not even thinking about conspiracy at all, but listen to me. Um, I believe you're being manipulated by people that don't know exactly what they're talking about, but they believe what they're talking about. And you and I know the internet can make people believe anything.
Big Jim would not do anything to Little Jim, I don't think. Uh, I will remind you that Little Jim killed Big Jim too. He killed him too. You forget that Big Jim and my mother were in the same nursing home together that Little Jim had put them in. And because Big Jim had a little bit of money too, and Little Jim wanted that money, and so he put him in a nursing home and siphoned all of his money out, just like he did my mother. All right, so Big Jim was in no position to stop Little Jim at all, none, zero. And Little Jim, it turns out, is Larry Frost's father, if I understand correctly. All right, so Big Jim was in no position to do a damn thing to stop Little Jim from doing what he was doing. I wished he could have. I wish there was something he could have said or done to stop him, but no, he was manipulated by Little Jim as well. They were both in the same nursing home. They were both doped up with drugs. Little Jim, when he finally got him in the nursing home, he got the nursing home to dope him up with drugs, so it would look like they had dementia and that they were out of their fucking mind. And then once they did that, then they got Dr. Nabal, who's one of the doctors down here, to sign off on everything. And oh yeah, man, Big Jim and Alice, they're both wacky as fucking squirrel shit. And so they've got to be doped up 24/7 because it's just horrible. They've got dementia, just lying out their fucking ass. Neither one of those two people had anything wrong with them. Big Jim was intelligent, just like my mother. There was nothing wrong with these people. But see, they had to dope them up, because if they didn't dope them up, they'd go into any court of law and say, hey, that man's not the executor. That man's not in charge of my stuff. That man's nothing to do with us. And but see, they didn't get that chance. I mean, I'm standing there in a goddamn court of law saying, hey, that's not my mother's signature. I'm in a court of law with a document in my hand, and that's not my mother's signature. Now, you would have thought, as soon as those words come out of my fucking mouth, that bailiff standing over there would have reached out and laid hands on Little Jim, and I ain't talking about in a Christian way either, would have laid hands on his ass and threw him in a fucking paddy wagon. But you know what? That didn't happen. Gee, I wonder why. MK Ultra mind control. They're using mind control. He was using mind control. Had to be. Otherwise, that bailiff would have arrested his ass for forging my mother's signature. But he didn't. Nobody did. Nobody did shit. When two people come into when a person comes into a court of law with two fake documents, and the judge just sits there and the bailiff doesn't make an arrest, something is wrong. And it sure as fuck isn't me. All right. So now you could either call it MK Ultra mind control, or you can call it demon shit. I don't give a fuck, because I win either way, bitch. You want to call it demon activity? Okay, great. I'm cool with that. Or you can call it MK Ultra mind control. But the one thing you can't say is that it's fucking normal. Okay, when somebody walks into a court of law with two fake documents, one of which even has a forged signature on it, and the motherfuckers aren't arrested on the spot, something's wrong. And it sure as fuck isn't me. So now you could call it either demonic activity, or you could call it MK Ultra mind control. I win either fucking way. So, I mean, it's not fucking normal. That's not fucking normal. If I'd have walked into that courtroom with two fake documents, what do you think would have happened to my happy ass? That bailiff would have grabbed a hold of me and threw me in the fucking back room, and I'd have been put in a fucking paddy wagon and took off to parts unknown. And that would have been the end of me. But that didn't happen, did it? No, the Frost just sat there like bumps on a log. Nobody did a goddamn thing. They went forward with that fucking corrupted court case like it was legit, knowing damn good and well it wasn't no more legit than a man on the fucking moon. That shit wasn't legit. When you forge people's fucking signature, obviously something's going on. But I'm looking right at that son of a bitch. I said, that's not her signature. Mom looks at that fucking eviction notice that they walked into court with. She said, thank God she was there at the time, because they'd have thrown me in jail. See, that was the plan, to throw me in jail and then take my property away from me.
Now, don't you
And,
have something else coming up with the Frost in court?
and then
Or
she just
going on
happened
with
to
that?
be there. She just happened to be there. And she said, I never authorized that. And then I grabbed a hold of a copy of it, and I looked at it, and I'm like, that's not Mom's signature. Mom's signature. Mom is very. I watched Mom write her signature. She was very methodic, very direct, very specific when she wrote her signature out. It was, she had a method up by how she did it. And when you compared how she did her signature, and then you compared it with the signature that was on the document, they did not match. And I told the judge and everybody there, I said, that's not her signature. And at that point, the bailiff should have immediately arrested all 7 Frosts and threw their ass in a paddy wagon. Well, that didn't happen, though, did it? And she hated. I thought all this time my mother hated me. She didn't hate me at all. It was James Arnold Frost manipulating her this whole time. And right before she passed, I got to hear her say that she loved me, really loved me. It's unfortunate that I didn't get to find out that my mother loved me until she died. And that, too, is fucking evil. That's why I say, hey, maybe it's not MK Ultra. Maybe it's demonic. Maybe it's just flat out fucking demonic. But either way, I win. Because either way, he manipulated the fuck out of an elderly woman, which is elder abuse, which is a crime. In fact, it's a fucking felony in the state of Kentucky. So is anything going to be done? Fuck no. Or it had done been done. They'd have done been thrown in prison. This shit would all been over. I'd have got my kids back. I'd have got my money back, and nothing more would have been said or done. But the governor wouldn't do shit. The attorney general wouldn't do shit. The fucking Rand Paul's office wouldn't do shit. Hal Rogers' office wouldn't do shit. Mitch McConnell's office wouldn't do shit. Nobody wanted to do a fucking thing. Wake up, Solar. These people, oh well, Vaughn, all they did was call CPS every day. Yeah, but by calling CPS every day, CPS coming out here affected my wife mentally until she snapped like a fucking twig. All right. Then you could sit there. They didn't put a gun to her head, but they might as well as have, because the result was the same. All right. Andrea has 5 personalities now, and not one of them is the one I married. Not one. Okay. So my wife is dead. Now, I don't know about the legal ramifications of that. Would that be manslaughter? Would that be murder? Would that, because my wife is dead. She no longer exists. Her body's still walking around, but her body has 5 different personalities in it, and none of them is the one I married. So the woman I married, does not exist. She is dead. Now, how Kentucky law handles that, I do not know, which means I'm going to have to ask one of the 3 judges, hey, how does Kentucky handle that? Is that manslaughter? Is it murder? Is it aggravated assault? How the fuck do they handle when somebody drives someone insane to where that they are no longer who they were? And I'll have to see what Kentucky law has to say about it. So I either talk to one of the judges, or I'll try to get up with maybe somebody else. Contact somebody here in Kentucky, find out what they say about that. Because obviously, mom's dead, my dad's dead, wife's dead. They tried to kill my 3 kids, putting them in a COVID-infected county, hoping they would catch COVID and die. Well, that didn't happen. Then they even afflicted the foster parents with COVID, hoping that would cause them to die. That didn't happen. And so they just keep trying to come up with shit to kill off my kids and kill me off. Now you see, me and my children both have prophecies over our heads. I have a prophecy over my head that says you will have a great and glorious future that will benefit all of mankind. That's the prophecy over me. But my children also have a prophecy over them. They have a prophecy over them that they will destroy evil in the earth. Okay. Now, those are two things that would really piss off a demon, right? So, if you want to go the demonology route, there it is right there. I mean, why else? Why such the push against my kids and me? Because we have prophecies over our heads. And a demon would want to make sure that those prophecies don't come to pass. So, it's real easy to go the demonic route. I had this. I was on Delphi forums, which is a bulletin board, and this seer, this futurist, she's real excited. She messages me on the boards, and she's like, Vaughn, you got to get back to me right away. So I message her back on the bulletin board, and she's like, I was given that your children have prophecy over. Now you got to understand, the time when the seer told me this, I had no idea I was going to be married. I had no idea I was going to even have kids. And she's come to me on Delphi. She says, you're going to be married, you're going to have kids, and these kids are going to destroy evil in the earth. And they're going to be, they're going to be mighty. They're going to be powerful. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought, I ain't gonna lie, I thought she was a lunatic, because she's like she was so happy, she was so happy and so excited about it. I said, well, okay, I'll entertain her, her thinking on it. Little did I know she was a well-known truth teller, a seer, somebody that can see into the future, and somebody that's gifted of the gods. And that, she was sitting there telling me to the letter, she described Andrea in minute detail. She was able to tell me everything about her. She didn't get her name, but she was able to describe her. She was able to describe the kids. And she told me, she said, these kids are going to do mighty works in the earth, man. They're going to destroy evil. They're going to do all kinds of great exploits. And I'm like, wow, that's, and but like I said, I think I even told her, wrote her back. I said, well, I don't even have any prospects for marriage, let alone 3 kids. She's like, no, you will be married. You will have 3 kids. They're gonna be awesome kids. They're gonna do great things. And I'm like, okay. And I let it go at that. I kind of shelved it. Well, guess what? Here comes Andrea. Here comes the 3 kids. So, she was 100% accurate. But she was so happy. That was the thing that got me. She was extremely happy. She was thrilled about it because obviously if they're doing great exploits in the earth, that's awesome. That benefits everybody. After Pamela Sue and the fallout from that, I had no intentions of remarrying anyway. But little did I know I would end up coming down here. And when I come down here, things changed. Everything changed, and I was able to hook up with her on Singles Net. I don't even know if they're still around, but I was able to hook up with her on Singles Net, and everything just snowballed from there. But I don't know why things happened the way they happened. Only thing I can assume is that the gods have a plan, and that they're going to bring that plan to fruition. And the trolls, there's nothing the trolls can do. There's nothing, this one dumbass, he calls himself the son of Hecate or some shit. This dumbass doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He thinks he can take on the gods of creation and win. Are you fucking dumb, idiot? You can't take on a god and win, you moron. I'm in line with the god of Hecate. Yeah, well, the god of Hecate don't recognize you. I used to be a follower of Hecate, bitch. And I think if you was a true follower of Hecate, I'd know. And I don't know shit about you. And I don't hear shit about you. And the gods are, I went to the gods about some of these fuckers. I said, what's the deal on these guys? So they're like, they laughed. They literally laughed. They said, pay no attention to these dumb fuckers. They don't know what the hell's going on. They're left-hand pathers. They've been rejected by the gods. They're off on their own, doing their own fucking thing, which there's nothing wrong with that, I don't reckon. But I mean, you're not sanctioned by the gods. You don't have the gods behind you. You're on your fucking own, doing your own shit, which is fine, but it ain't going to come to pass. Okay, I've literally got the gods of creation behind me. What is going to happen is going to happen, whether you dumb fucks like it or not. Every time I die, I come back. Why? Because the goddamn prophecy hasn't been fulfilled over me. So you can't kill me. You could kill this body. I just come back in another fucking body. Remember what Thoth said in the Emerald Tablets? He said, I just go down into the halls of Amente, get me another fucking human body, and back I come. Well, what do you think the gods have been having me do? You kill this body? Okay, great. I just come back in another fucking body. But you're not going to stop the prophecy. You're not going to stop what has to happen. You're not going to stop the liberation of the United States. You're not going to stop any of the shit that the gods have said they've laid out for what to happen. You're not going to stop any of it. So why the fuck are you doing what you're doing? You're wasting your fucking time.